esto se va. Sáquenme la botella que funda para gastarle. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. So baile, baby. Ese seguro y retrocede. Que me encanta la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo pégate un poquito, mami, que yo quiero enseñarte lo que yo tengo para ti. Lo que tengo para ti. Sé que te va a encantar como me yo.
What is going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and like always, our co-host, Gametime Bryan. Gametime, welcome back to the studios. And I know you've been doing your thing over on your channel, but welcome back, of course, to Primetime Studios. And here we go, another week 11. Not exactly great things to look forward to, but you know, I every loss I look forward to at least the draft. And I think we had an amazing time in Dallas. I had an amazing time with the food that we ate as well too. But hanging out with Mark, hanging out with you was an amazing time. So Gametime, welcome back, sir.
Welcome back. What's going on, everybody? How was everybody doing? I'm doing good, man. It was just telling Phil off the air. It was a rough day. I was up real late last night with the fight, and by the time I fell asleep, it was 1:30, 1:45. I was up at 6:45. Worked all day, came home, showered, and passed out before I went. I forgot all about it, honestly. But that being said, we're going to talk about the games like we always do. And we had a great time, man. Again, I'm just surprised at some of the people and some of their comments, but we're not going to let them bring us down, are we, Phil? No. It is what it is. I guess we just have a lot of front runner people out there who think that if the team isn't playing up to standard, that you're supposed to crawl in a hole or a cave. No pun intended, Hamid, and hide and not cheer on your team. That'll never happen with me. So
no, of course I want to have an amazing draft pick, but man, if Cooper Rush could take this team on a roll, I would not be against that either, man. I know people will look at it, but it's like right now we're picking 11th. Unless it goes really, really bad, which I mean it could. I mean, we have some really big competition, of course, with that first place schedule coming up, still hitting us. In those injuries, it definitely could go worse, and of course, better for draft season and of course the off season. But here we are. We still got people that still need to make these rosters, need to make rosters in general, whether it's here or somewhere else in the NFL. So they still got to play their asses off, and I'm hoping that we still. I liked what we saw last week with at least the defense in the first half. You could argue the second half, but I still liked the performance compared to where they at injury-wise. So
the first half was fine. Again, we were there. I just caught the very tail end. Woke up from my nap, and I caught the tail end of Mark's live stream this afternoon, and I saw Leo in there. He brought up my name. Yeah, I don't know. Phil, I think I nailed it. He predicted an Eagles an Eagles win. I forget what I said, but I said pretty. It didn't take a genius to see what was going to happen.
No,
I think I said 10 points, but I mean, again, Dallas came out and punched the Eagles in the mouth, and actually dominated parts of the first half. Problem was their offense couldn't do nothing. So again, I'm okay with it, people.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
When we did our live broadcast, I mean, I thought they were going to score 34 points. That's exactly what they scored. I thought our offense was going to do a little bit more. I didn't think we were going to get beyond 17 points, but I did think that the offense was going to be able to do well. Maybe that's credit to the Eagles and what their defense, especially after they played Washington. But I'm still disappointed in a lot of the game plan and let's put it back. Let's put it into perspective. Is the fact that our running game was amazing in that especially when Rico was touching the ball. then
first half. Let's just leave it.
Yeah, we had the 32nd rushing offense in the league, and that was our highlight. That our passing game couldn't compare to that running game. So that just goes to show you how bad that passing game really was. And so to me, I look at each week. Yes, maybe we can get something going offensively, but is it enough to go against higher power offenses, especially with guys like Cooper Rush, Trey Lance? I know Trey gives you a little bit more spark, but let's be real, he is really raw, and he shows it, every other play. So
yeah, absolutely. And all right, well, go ahead.
No. I would continue. I was just gonna go to the defensive side.
Well, no. Oh yeah, all right. We'll go wherever you want to go. I don't know. I was just gonna bounce off of what you were saying.
Go ahead, definitely. I didn't know. I saw you texting there, and I wanted
Well, yeah, I'm texting to Facebook and Twitter. Sorry. I was just putting the show
bat
out
signal
there,
out there,
like I always do.
Better than I
forgot what we were saying. It's all
You're
right.
talking about Trey Lance and Cooper Rush being able to push this offense.
I mean, I don't know what people think. Everybody was wishing for Trey Lance. Everybody wanted Trey Lance, and then, there you go. Trey Lance stinks, everybody. That doesn't mean we can't have some packages for exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Trey Lance is never going to be nothing more than what he was, okay? He's had a year and a half, right? Or a year?
Basically
He's had a year.
Yeah, a year and a half. I would give you that, yeah.
Well, I don't know. No,
I guess you can't count this.
Year, right?
I guess you can't count this year. Yeah, just a whole year. Yeah.
Yeah. So like a year, and again, he don't look comfortable in the pocket. Now, mind you, our offensive line has not played great. Mm-mm. It's not bad. We got some great spots, but they're not playing. Here's the best thing I can say about our offensive line: we're not playing cohesively. The individual parts are greater than the whole, if that makes any sense. Offensive line play is about working together, getting to the second level, getting to the linebackers. And we got a lot of guys that are doing decent, but they're not working together to move up the field to get those, but in saying that, Phil pointed out that and we're not necessarily just going to rehash the Eagle game. We've already done it, but Dallas had a lot of success moving between the 20s. Problem was they're a bad offense right now. When you get into the red zone, you need somebody to make a play, and the sun being in our players' eyes. We couldn't get out of our own way. Eagles did what they had to do, and then Eagles did it again on Thursday night. Again, the Eagles have a way of playing ugly in the first half and pulling away in the second half. What I'll tell my Eagle fans is, and I think Twiz would admit to this, they need to find another gear early in the game. You can't play the way you played against the Detroit Lions. I keep hearing far too often, we're better than the Lions. Again, you'll see. You got to play more of a complete game if you're going to beat the Lions. That's all. And probably more than that. But, yes, getting back to the Cowboys, Lance is what he is. I'm still okay with him having some
packages, yeah.
A package here or there. I'm fine with it. Short yardage, I'm fine with it. But outside of that, after looking at it, he played horribly, Lance. He just did. I mean, I don't care. Either that or start Lance. I said that before. You either play him and just see. But it doesn't seem like that's what McCarthy's going to do. He was going down on a sword. He's not giving up play calling. He's not giving up shit. And I don't blame him. He's a lame duck, Phil.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, bro.
No, Brad says it right. Part of the problem, yes, but not the only problem. And that's true. I mean, our defense, when I'm like switching sides of the ball, I mean, they do well. I mean, but they can only take it for so long without that defensive tackle. I mean, or two defensive tackles. You're really, that run game is kind of your. But they've done a great job. I mean, counter to that, I mean, other than running quarterbacks, they've actually done a better job with the running game. That doesn't mean anything that they can't whip it. A running game can't just like destroy them one Sunday or Monday. But I would love to see some improvements on that. I don't even know which direction you go because until you know what free agents there are out there or what guys are actually going to be declaring for the draft, you really and it just sucks. You're week 11. You're already kind of looking at this. situation. But again, if they go on some kind of run and some collapse by two other teams, I mean, I think that's always a possibility. But let's be real. Even if this team somehow slides into that playoffs, are we really any kind of threat? And would it be worth getting out of position for the draft?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. We want a high draft pick. Sorry, everybody. I got news for you. We don't have to tank. We're not good enough to worry about it right now. And again, I challenge any of these teams. I challenge the Eagles to go through the massive injuries. Not that we were playing good prior to the injuries, but I challenge anybody to have a good season. Dealing with the adversity. We still haven't seen our Pro Bowl a cornerback in Deron Bland. We haven't seen him yet. He has setback after setback. At this point, I'd shut him down for the year, but he's going to want to come back and play. But, I just challenge other teams, not the Eagles, but everybody. It's not easy. And when you're going into a year where the organization put this team behind the eight ball, say, well, this is what you got. And they've been, you got to go do it. What you have with, the pieces that you got. We're not going to add a Derrick Henry. We're not going to add a linebacker. We're not going to add, other than a veteran minimum Eric Kendricks type.
Well, let's
of deal.
be real, man. Here in the next next 2 years, this Dak contract's going to look small, and I know that's probably saying doesn't seem like a lot, but really back.
Small is the word I would use.
Well, once about 4 or 5 more players gets signed, that's where you look back and you're just like, yeah, especially with the cap going up. I'm not sure how much they're going. Their lawyers obviously helped them with this past lawsuit in the offseason, so I don't think they're going to have to split that cost as well. So, I know it's not really a great news thing, but at the same time, if you're looking at it from the salary cap, it definitely helps us. Some of this money, of course, that they're rolling over, they know they need to get particular guys signed, but that can't be the excuse. You can't. If you're just a person that, like Jerry Jones, he even admitted to, I don't know if it was accidentally or he just put his foot in his mouth, but he admitted that this Dak and CD contract kind of ate up his time, and so he really wasn't able to sign anybody else, or he really wasn't looking to sign anybody else.
Yeah. And I just think that the NFL these days, seasons like this can happen. You see it, right? I mean, and the icing on the cake is that going down. I find it funny that the Cowboys, how we played through the first few games, was going to be the way it was going to be for all year, when clearly we've seen in recent years Dallas struggle at times and still be able to get their act together. Mm-hmm. This narrative, well, you sucked before the injuries, you weren't ever going to recover. Well, that's
I don't.
That's the only thing I would argue with, because that's not fair. No. I'm not saying I'll sit here and say we weren't going to go anywhere this year. We said that prior to the season starting. We were kind of hoping and praying and maybe get lucky. Eagles are better than we thought. Washington is, I think, where I thought they would be. I think Washington's going to end up where I kind of thought. Giants are worse than I thought. But at the end of the day, I want a high draft pick, not just for round one. I think it's even more important. Round one's great, but round two, round three, we have a fourth, right? Yeah, I don't know if we have a fourth.
Maybe the comp pick. Maybe the comp.
Well, I don't think we're getting a comp 4, so we'll have to trade one of the 4 or 5s that we're going to have and be back up into the 4th round. But after we make a couple switches, you flip a couple switches and unload some contracts, we're going to have upwards of $125 million in this offseason. So get ready. So we're going to know right away what this team is going to be right after the season. Oh, yeah. They need to identify the coach right away, people. We can't wait like we did before. You have an advantage. We're going to be done early. You hit it. You hit it good. Now, if you want a coach that's still playing, then you got to wait. Sometimes Dan Quinn did interviews while we were preparing for Green Bay. You guys remember that?
Went. Yeah.
Well, again, but they're allowed to do that. So I have a feeling that the coach we're looking at might not be on a team right now. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But you know,
no, not bad.
What's going on, Curtis? What's going on, brother? Why are we blocking people, man?
Do you want to go through the games? Because honestly, to break down some of this roster, I mean,
Dak was terrible this year. I'll read it, Ultra. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Why are we blocking Ultra? Dak was terrible this year. Injury was a blessing for him. He prepares for a new coach. What's wrong with that comment? Come on now. Come on, guys. Anyway, yeah, let's prepare. But, let's prepare. What do you want to go over the games?
Well, I mean, we could talk about the individuals. I think when there's more success, obviously that's when we talk about the individual the positions and what they're bringing. I don't really have a lot to say when it comes to the running back positions. We all know where we're at there. We need to see in our fullback position, Hunter Lemke get a little bit more touches. Wide receivers, we're going to see Mingo out there. I don't know really what that means without having Dak out there with him. Again, it's just there's not a lot to say on the offensive side, and at least the defensive side is bringing some heart, and they need to be the ones that leads the way. But how far can they go, especially with those higher power offense? I mean, don't get me wrong, Houston's been kind of struggling recently, but they can at least score 20 points. So I think that's our weakness right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But just looking at this game, and we'll talk about it. I didn't even really look at the slate of games for tomorrow. I mean, I'm looking at it now. I did make my picks, but
probably when you were sitting at your hotel room, just kind of like,
Yeah, I think that's when it was. Looking at it, I don't think I'm going to stream tomorrow, everybody. I don't think so. I think I'll just wait till I'll probably just stream the game on Monday. Just looking at it. There's a couple good games, but really, I might try and get some stuff done around here. But yeah, I don't know, man. We could just replay the Eagle game. I don't know that we did a show. I don't think we did a show. I'm all discombobulated.
No, I never did.
It was a good win. Again, it was like a close game. Washington was decent. Washington is in a spot where they haven't had their bye week. They're banged up. But Eagles did their job, man. They did their job. Congrats to the Eagles. They get 10 days rest. And now Dallas has a little bit of rest going into the Monday night game that we'll talk about. But let's get into these games here and see what we think. Did you have Washington or the Eagles?
No, I always lose. I always lose that Thursday night, so I had Washington. This is the first time I actually picked against the Eagles. So.
I never changed my pick. Yeah. I picked the Eagles, but I forgot I had taken Washington here, so I lost it. So well. But let's go to the first 1:00 game. Chicago Bears host the 4-5 Bears are the underdog here. They're hosting the Green Bay Packers. Bears have come on to some scrutiny as of late.
Yeah.
What are you?
I'm hearing.
What are you looking at there,
was that true? Was there players actually trying to get him petitioned for him to be benched? Is that? I was hearing that.
Campbell.
Yeah.
I hear a lot. I'm not positive on that. I did hear that. So
either way,
unconfirmed.
Even if you bring it back up,
19-3 at home. Oof.
Yeah, even if you bring him back up, I don't really see this. Green Bay, I think, is the better team. It's been in that way for quite a bit on the matchup, but I think it continues, man. I think in that Jordan Love era, I don't know if he's still injured or dealing with injuries. But I still see them winning this game.
Green Bay, you're saying?
Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. That loss last week really, and I believe Green Bay's coming off a bye. Let me see, week 9. I believe Green Bay is coming off a bye week, so they get an advantage. People, no, actually, no, they don't. Green Bay lost a 24-14 to the Lions. So, that was week 9. Week 10, let me just see here. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, the Packers were on the bye last week. So, yeah, definitely go with the Packers this week.
Oh boy, here we go.
Wow. Yeah, I can, guys. Whatever. I'll keep my mouth shut.
What's going on, man?
Green Bay. Give me Green Bay. We got.
Brad, calm it down, man.
Yeah, they don't understand. We got 20-some people in here, and we're just going to block people. I don't understand. Start taking mods away, that's all.
Yeah.
All right. Green Bay Packers. We're going with Green Bay. Moving on to the next game. Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean,
home.
with Jacksonville, here's the thing, man. On one of my fantasies, I had when I can't change it on this roster, I had Prescott, so he's out for the season, and then my backup was Trevor Lawrence, and I don't know where the hell is Trevor at as well. So even in this matchup, even if Trevor Lawrence was there, I can't see them going toe to toe with Detroit. Even if Detroit struggles like they did the other night, 5 turnovers. They still won the game. I still could see that happening in this game. If that happens, you got to start wondering about Detroit and what they can do if they start turning the ball over. But I just, one game, you can't really judge it. But I think they continue their winning ways, 9-1.
Yeah, I think Detroit rolls in this game. They go to 9-1. Jacksonville goes to 2-9. Jacksonville's a major underdog in this game. So I'll go with the Lions here. Again, I think the Lions are the best team, I think, in the NFL, let alone NFC.
Yeah.
So give me the Lions, the Lions. Let's roll with them. Moving on to the next 1 o'clock game, you got the Minnesota Vikings. The 7-2 Vikings visiting the Tennessee Titans, who are 2-7.
And that's what they're doing, man. They're going to put their feet up on their couch. They're going to mess that whole arena up because even with the Vikings, are they a good team? Are they not? I'm not still convinced. I'm not. Just because they go out and they're doing this doesn't mean to me that they're a playoff team. That So I still need to see it as they go deeper into the season. Is it just a fake thing? But by the time the postseason comes, they're not that team anymore. Will Sam Darnold eventually basically, what am I thinking of? The clock strike midnight, and will the pumpkin finally the carriage go into a pumpkin? Because I'm really interested to see if they can really keep putting these numbers up in this defense. So, but in this matchup, even with all that crap talking that I did, I'm going to still pick the Vikings because, of course, Tennessee is just a mess. I get the run game is really, really nice, but again, until they get a leader, they don't mean anything.
Pollard.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Tennessee's running game, but I think they're limited. I do think they're limited. So give me the Vikings.
Thank you, Logan. Exactly.
Sorry, I was texting somebody back.
So then when we go into the next one, I think this one a couple of weeks ago, this would have been a whole different thing. Would have been a very Bourse fest, but of course you got Miami hosting the Raiders. I got the hiccups going on right now. Sorry.
Sorry, man. You hold your breath.
You
got the Dolphins, the 3-6 Dolphins, right? 3-6 Dolphins hosting the 2-7 Raiders.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Even with that. We look at this. We still behind both of those teams, right? So I think it's funny. I mean, obviously you're hoping that Miami
got to win here.
You're hoping Miami wins. I mean, just so they can get ahead of us. Get 4 wins. If we lose and we still at the 3 wins, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not where you're at, Phil. I am not. Oh, I like the graphics.
I know.
I'm not where you're at.
No. I'm looking at it right now, just laughing at it as I look at the record because that's where it's at.
Well, look at the last 3 teams we made. We talked about 2-7 Titans, 2-7 Raiders, 3-6 Dolphins. Yet Dallas Cowboys are the worst team. None of these teams have anywhere close to the injuries that we have.
No. You're talking about their starters.
So it's like, that's why it's going to be a comeback when this does, come 180 because we got a lot of firepower. But staying focused on what we're talking about, I'll go Dolphins. I'm going to go Dolphins. So what do you like?
I got to go Dolphins as well, man. I haven't seen anything from the Raiders. Minshew can all of a sudden
hold your breath.
Yeah, exactly. Raiders can all of a sudden turn it on and do one game. I'll give you one game, but it's not against the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins take this one. If the Raiders win one like that, it's going to be at their home.
I like Miami.
Especially
I like
with Tua
Miami
back.
in this game. They have a lot of talent. It's just, Tua's got to learn. Dude, did you see that
Slide, mother. Slide.
tackle that he oh my God. He went in to try and tackle somebody with his head. I mean, he needs a guardian shield.
Yeah, he
if
does.
anybody
Two.
needs a guardian
He needs
shield,
two
it's
of
Tua.
them. He like two.
I mean, I'd work
Come on,
I'd
Oregon.
work two of them. Maybe just put some bubble wrap on them.
Yes. Bubble boy, just running out there.
So here we go. Next 1 o'clock game, New England Patriots 3-7, They're coming off a great road win last week at the Chicago Bears. New England hosting the Los Angeles Rams, the 4-5 Rams, but the Rams are dangerous.
They
the
are.
Rams
They're
a dangerous football team.
That's who I went with in this matchup. I don't care if it is in New England. Right now, New England doesn't have the team put together enough to maybe be a pain in your butt or give you a loss when you're trying to get into the playoffs or something like that.
Did you see our chat, man? It's mostly gray.
Dude, guys, Brad, dude, come on, man. I know they're saying stuff. You can't. Come on. Let's see.
It's not helping. It's just not helping Phil's channel. Nobody's gonna come here. So sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the Rams. I'm sorry, 4-5 Rams. Give me the road team. I think Rams are more talented. I think they inflict their will upon the New England Patriots.
Sorry, I can't even. Trying to do stuff over here.
Yeah, I know. I like the Rams. The Rams are a favorite, a -215 money line favorite. So give me the Rams to visit the Patriots. It's supposed to be nice, not too cold yet.
I'm not telling you to leave,
so give
man.
me the
Just
Rams.
calm down. Just I know they're talking
Nobody's
trash.
saying leave, Brad. Nobody's saying leave again.
Yeah, they're gonna talk trash. Let them talk trash. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna talk trash. Can't worry about it. I know it's when you jump and made it all personal.
Nothing's personal. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know about any of what they said about you being soft. I didn't. We're trying. See, we're trying to do a show here, people, and without you guys, there is no show. I don't know if anybody realizes that, but without anybody watching us, there's no show. So I apologize. So who do you like, Rams?
Well,
Rams or Patriots?
Yeah, when I got to go Rams. I think with their weapons back, their offense is formidable. I question their defense a little bit, but I don't think the Patriots have enough firepower to really kind of give anybody problems.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Moving along, 1 o'clock game. New Orleans Saints at 3-7. I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. Dallas is going to screw this up. 4-5, 3-7. 3-6, 2-7, 2-7. I mean, this is ugly football.
That's
people.
what I'm saying. Look at that. One of these two teams got to lose.
New Orleans Saints.
Watch, they're going to tie.
3-7, hosting the 2-7 Browns.
I would say the Saints
going to win.
I would say the Saints. They look a little bit better, but then Winston could all of a sudden turn the Browns around and actually
I'm going with
win.
Cleveland. Why? I have no idea.
Yeah,
No.
I'm going Saints just because of the home thing. I have no idea. That's 100. I don't know, man. This is bad. That's bad. And they still beating us. All right.
Cleveland Browns. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Saints just
game.
because they did beat us, so they'd be behind us again. I'm looking like that. I am. I'm talking like that. I'm doing that.
Yep. Next game, Steelers. This is a good game, people.
Here we go.
This is a good game.
They're waiting.
Here we go. Is right. Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the 7-2 Steelers are hosting the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens. This is a divisional matchup.
This should be the Monday Night Football game. Matchup.
Yes, this should be the Monday night game.
Oh, dang, come on, Oregon.
Not a battle of the Texas teams that suck.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, very, very bad. Very embarrassing a little bit. So when I look at these two, Ravens to me are the better team. I think the Steelers' defense really keeps them in games. And then if you can at least put a quarterback in there to manage the game and both of those quarterbacks can manage it. They're not going to go out and oh man, the other team is going to score 35 to 40 points. I need to make sure I get out there and score 35 to 40 points. That's not this offense. But if your defense can keep you in there, which they definitely can when it comes to the Steelers, I think this could be a very big, close matchup, and I think it could be very big in the sense of the ratings, and especially with all that other stuff on the cards. This was definitely on my radar. I still got to go Ravens, even though they are going into Pittsburgh. I just think that Lamar is, unfortunately, you're gonna cross me on this one, but he is actually passing down the field. He's doing a really good job reading those defenses. So I would like to see what he can do against a pass rushing defense without having to do his old Lamar thing and start running around, you know?
Yeah. So who did you take?
I got Baltimore.
Yeah, we're going to go directly against you. I'm hearing myself, so I don't know what button you're hitting, but...
Didn't touch anything. It's the internet.
Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, look at you. I see how you want to be.
I'll take the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, I'm going to take the Steelers in a home game against the Ravens, who I believe Lamar tends to fold in these type situations, and I will believe he will fold again tomorrow. I think that Pittsburgh's a tough place to play. I think Russell Wilson has evened this team out. I think they got a good running game. I think they got a good defense. I think it'll be a great game, though. So go Steel Curtain. Let's go. Let's shut up Lamar Jackson. All right, all you Lamar fans. So moving along to the next 1 o'clock game, the New York Jets 3-7. They're the favorite here against the 4-6 Indianapolis Colts.
3-7. Look at that. Another 4-6.
We're
3-7
back to the
matchup.
shit show.
That's what I'm saying. We're right. That's where it is. I mean, that's why I say we're picking 11th at this point, because this is what the NFL is.
18.
I actually like this matchup. I mean, when you look at these two teams, they have the ability to actually be better. Their defense could keep them in games. So I think their records are a little bit misleading. Don't get me wrong, the Jets don't deserve any of their success if they did have it, even if they did. But in this matchup, I still got to go Jets on this one. I think they can turn it on at some point, and I believe at some point they will. Probably be next year. But I got to go Jets with this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the New York Jets myself. I like it. Another one of these games, though, where I've never been on the right side. I'm hardly ever on the right side of the Colts. I don't know. I'm hardly ever on the right side of them. So, I'm going to roll with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers, and we'll go with the Jets. Moving on to the first 4 o'clock game. Here we go. A little bit better. Denver Broncos, they're the home favorite, even though most of the people are picking Atlanta. Denver 5-5, hosting the Atlanta Falcons, who sit at 6-4.
Again, I think Atlanta is a better team than their record says, but they are iffy. I mean, they do have their times where they just play bad football, or they allow other teams to kind of start getting on a roll. Of course, those 4 losses were very, just really bad losses when it comes to it. They were in those games, minus one of them, but I think in this one, I think they go to Denver. They're able to kind of handle business there. I think in the beginning, first quarter, so it'll be close. But much as I really want Bo Nix to succeed, I can't put that on his shoulders yet. Not in his first year, especially with the rest of the team needing to kind of get behind him. 5-5 though, you can't really bitch too much when you were sitting there at 3-6, right? But I got to go Atlanta on this one. I just think they have a better team and a better leader.
I would think they would, but I think Denver this time of year is going to be a tough place to play. Denver's playing really good defense. I think Atlanta is fraudulent. I do. And I think Atlanta takes the L here, and I'll give me the Broncos here. Broncos, Bo Nix, Oregon zone. He's getting on a roll. Can't believe you turned your back on your fellow alum. No. But that's okay.
I turned my back on the rest of the team.
I'll have his back.
Yeah. You got like 3 players on that whole team, man. Let's be real.
No, they're playing well. Vegas has them as a favorite. I think Atlanta can win the game, obviously. But just give me the home team here. Atlanta hasn't showed me enough. I think that Kirk Cousins has kind of leveled off a little bit. but it could go either way. But I'm going to go Broncos. Especially, I believe they're getting points. Just curious. I don't have the lines up. Let me see here. I'm just for the sake of argument, I'm curious what that line is. I should have just asked Weed. He would know. Falcons. Yeah, the Broncos are a 2-point favorite. So give me the Broncos at home. Tough place to play. Yeah. So, all right, moving on. There we go. This is another half-decent game. The records don't indicate how good these teams really are. The 5-4 49ers hosting the 4-5 Seahawks.
They're talking trash. You got 49ers over there signing here their corner, and Metcalf saying that he's going to destroy him. And then you see the film come out of them battling through their time together. So I like this matchup. I would say that I would like to see Metcalf kind of go off. I mean, he's talking a lot of shit, but I've never really seen him do that and then back it up. So we'll see how that goes for him. I got to still go with 49ers in this one. I just think they have too many weapons across the board compared to, one or two weapons offensively for the Seattle Seahawks. But because 49ers being at home, I think that's a little bit tougher for Seattle to kind of travel down there and play. But rivalry games, you never know, But 49ers, I got to take in this matchup.
Man. This is a tough game, Phil. Very tough game. I believe
there was this
Seattle
thing.
Was on a bye
there was
last
thing
week.
I was watching. It was some kind of cartoonish thing, and it looked like they had these quarterbacks and they were running together. And that each time they get into a situation, and one thing that was hilarious, they had Geno Smith there, and he would figure out the situation, and everybody like, wow, and he's like, don't be so surprised that I can do things, and I'm like, yeah, you are. You're really kind of surprised that he knows things and he does stuff.
Yeah, man. This is a tough game. This is a really tough game for me to pick. I have a weird feeling about Seattle, but I'm not going to go with Geno Smith this week. Give me the 49ers at home. But this is an upset waiting to happen. Seahawks have been off for a week, sitting back, and that's a big advantage.
Preparing.
John Lynch has been at the Star. I don't know what he's doing there, but we were there to it's going to come out sooner or later. We heard some rumblings that Steve Young is set to be the new GM. And if that's the case, then, would Jerry Jones really relinquish the controls of the Cowboys to a John Lynch? I highly doubt it. But you never know, right? Give me the Niners.
Yeah, sounds a good one. I don't
All right, moving on to the next game.
Another good matchup.
425, the Buffalo Bills, 8-2 at home. Playing the Kansas City Chiefs that are 9-0. The Kansas City Chiefs are the underdog. Yes, I said it. They're the underdog. They're a 2-point underdog. Some have 2.5.
Yeah, not if the referees have anything to say of it.
I know, I'm going Bills.
I am going Bills as well.
Baby.
I am going Bills as well. I think I would say get this upset, but I guess that's not the case, is it? They're the favorite. At home, I think... At some point, I mean, right? Chiefs got to lose, but I can't. Now that we've seen teams kind of go undefeated, get into the playoffs and lose in the Super Bowl, you never know. I don't think that when I look at Kansas City, obviously, congratulations to them getting 9-0, but I don't think they're that good of a team. Until you got Mahomes, of course, you always have you're always a threat, and you always have the possibility of winning. They've almost lost some tough ones, and the referees have bailed them out. I don't know if this was going to be one of those situations again, but even with Bills having some injury things with Coleman and Cooper last week, I'm not sure if they're playing this week. If that's the case, and there actually is, Buffalo missing Kincaid and wide receivers, so they do have a mismatch. But even with that, I really like their core. I don't think their team drops in production when guys go missing. They still did a great job last week, so I got to go Buffalo on this one still, even knowing that.
Yeah, listen, the Chiefs are 9-0, people. So let's not act like they can't win the game. Of course they can. They can win the game. And listen, would it surprise me if the Chiefs won? No, absolutely
No,
not.
it would not.
But I
No.
feel like I think this is a good opportunity for the Bills to win. If not, then I just think this is an opportunity for the Bills to win the game. Bills have changed up their approach. They're more of a running team now. Look for the quarterback. Bills are that type of team that, God forbid, that Josh Allen gets hurt, they are cooked. They would be cooked in the most possible way that you could be cooked as a team. Yeah. They go where Josh Allen goes, and I believe Josh Allen is playing at an unbelievably high level. So everybody gets caught up in
he's
numbers.
Not afraid to
I
run.
just think he's doing everything he needs to do to make their team win.
Well, he talks about what we want Dak to do, but obviously he can't really. His body's not going to allow him to. But you want him to be able to run and allow the defense to kind of think of that as another option, and that allows some of those wide receivers to be able to get open because they're waiting. Oh man, he's going to start running right now, and then all of a sudden the tight end's running up the middle and he's wide open. So man, I'm a little envious on that sense, but. Just like anything, I mean, we talk about them and we talk about their turnovers. He has made those type of problems happen for his defense, but man, he can ball. He can little stretch out that defense as well and allow them to get rest on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good game. This is a great game,
I like the
and
game.
it's sad because most of these really good games are involving I'd say the best game of the week is Baltimore-Pittsburgh. Outside of that, it's a lot of direct out here, people. The other good game was Eagles-Commanders. That's already over. This is a bad week of football, man. It really is. I guess the 4:00 game, Seattle 49ers, and obviously Chiefs and Bills. Those are two really good games. But this next game is okay. It's getting better. The Sunday night football game, the Los Angeles Chargers, the 6-3 Chargers host the 4-6 Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, with that, look, the Bengals go off offensively and just had this career game for Chase, and they still lose the game, right? That's kind of what the Bengals season has kind of been all about. Even with these type of matchups where they're getting the favorite, right? The Bengals, I'm pretty sure, are the favorite going on the road to the Chargers, but I think the Chargers can spread this, can slow this game down to the point where even if the Bengals don't get going offensively, by the time they know it, they could be going into the half down 10-0. And as long as the Chargers kind of keep spreading this game down and slowing it down, I think they can definitely pull this victory out close. But I still think that the Chargers can win at home. So I'm going to go Chargers with the upset.
Yeah, actually the Chargers, I believe, are the favorite in the game.
Damn it.
Just looking at the number, they're minus 120.
To me, it seems.
I'm also going to go with the Chargers. Their defense is playing really well, but again, this is a toss-up game. The line on this game is Chargers minus 1.5. So it's a toss-up. When I say favorite, very little favorite. Most of the people are going with the Bengals, so I'm gonna have to reevaluate this. I might have to reevaluate it, but I got time to worry about it.
What's going on?
So yeah, what's that?
No, just saying hi. So we go into the Monday night football game. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Play your drop.
Oh, sorry. No, my bad. That's only us. When I look at this matchup, I'll go ahead and talk about it. I want to talk about quarterback versus quarterback, wide receiver versus their wide receiver. They have some injuries as well there. Again, was Diggs really kind of being a part of that offensive juggernaut that they had going on? I don't really think so. Probably was a good option, though. You know how we always talked about those championship teams having a third wide receiver like an Antonio Brown did for the Buccaneers. And I think that's what he would have brought to them. But with that being out, I don't think the offensive weapons kind of go away. This Texans team is very much loaded. And even if our defense does a good job slowing them down, which I really like our defensive matchup, I think at some point it's going to explode, and I don't think our offense is going to do enough. As I really want Cooper Rush to kind of sling it around, but that's just not who he is. He's a manager of the game. He definitely does well when it comes to decisive passing, and he does go through his reads, but again, he's not going to give you that extra level. Is Trey Lance the answer? He'll have packages coming in, but he's quick to run and not go through his progression. So this is what we're talking about when we talk about Trey Lance not being ready for that role. So either way, even if you put Trey, even if you put Cooper, I can't see them scoring enough. I see them scoring more than 20 points, and unfortunately, I can see Houston going up into the 20s, 27 to I want to say 13. I'm hoping a touchdown
for the Texans.
No, but I see like 28 to 13.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to get a touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Dallas isn't winning this game. So I'm hoping I'm not going to stream it and root for them to lose. I have no control over it. But I'll be upset if they win this game. I mean, come on now. Really? I mean, I could care less about it. All right, fine. Let's beat the Giants on Thanksgiving. Let's don't get embarrassed. Let's go win. Thanks, Mark Hutchinson. Thanks, brother.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that, man. Oh, sorry. There we go. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, no.
No, go ahead and you talk about us.
I would definitely. What do you call it? I don't really need to win this game. I'm more looking at a good effort and maybe falling a little bit short. Dallas is 3-6. They're a 7. I repeat, 7-point underdog. Some have it 7.5. Rightly so. Now, I would say that the Texans, they are banged up on defense, which is why I think they will score a little bit. Jonathan Mingo is going to play. Be curious to see what he does.
Mingo would have caught it.
You got Will Anderson has been ruled out already. That's a big loss for the Texans.
That is big.
Will Anderson's a beast. He's out. So I think that's going to make us be able to run the ball like we did against the Eagles in the first half, really at will. We couldn't put any points up, and then eventually that's what happens. We were averaging 5.3 yards a clip in the first half versus the Eagles, so we were running well. Just we couldn't get out of our own way. There's hopefully this is later. There won't be any sun at this point.
Yeah.
It is a home game for Dallas, so
it's nighttime, right?
Will Anderson is ruled out, so I think that, and I think the offensive line for Houston is suspect. I mean, you saw the pressure that Dallas put on Hurts early in the game against a really good offensive line. Against an offensive line like Houston that only has Laramie smoke mask Tunsil. Whatever call it. It was a bong made out of a mask.
We could have one of those. We need one of those dropped to us.
I definitely could use one of those. I think it'll be like somewhere. It's funny because you said what? Like, what was your score? I mean, I think it'll be like a 24-13 kind of game, but I think Dallas gets a late touchdown to make it close. I think the final will be a Texans 24. The
closer.
Cowboys 20. So give me the 7.5 and over. Game. Something like that. I don't see the Texans scoring 40. Again, I just don't see that. But what do we really know? I'll be happy with that. Give me a good game, and 24-20. So
Mark Hutchinson says, I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm all about losing this season.
Stupid.
Yeah, and Lewin it?
I'm not.
No, exactly. I totally understand in the sense of, that you just got to go out there and play these games. I think with that first place schedule, it's going to be tough for you to win a lot, especially with the injuries. You got guys coming off the streets from other practice squads to come over and play football, and like, hey, you can come over here and get some experience. Wouldn't you want some experience? I like experience, and they all come over here. And so anybody you're elevating from a practice squad, you're obviously you're going to have to cut him at some point. So, they'll probably be right back on the practice squad of that other team next year. But in the meantime, I mean, we are where we are at. I do like where Lawson did come up, and at least somebody maybe possibly in that rotation into the 5th, 6th spot of the DNs for the futures. This is something that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. Some of these corners where we talked about, where we saw Carson doing his thing and just kind of getting eaten up. He needs a lot to improve, but we saw what Mukwamu do when he came in. I don't know where they were thinking. I know they want to put Carson out there, and I know he has impressed at times, but when something like that is happening, they need to be able to adjust very quickly, and I think that was something that you definitely lack on this coaching staff, being able to adjust quickly when stuff's happening within a drive, man. I think if we're sitting up there in the stands and we can call out what's happening on the offense, I mean, you can't figure it out. I mean, you should have somebody over and under by that point. We know they're going Carson. Why did it take you guys getting all the way to the 20-yard line to start putting a safety over to that side? We saw that. So that's the nice thing about being there compared to on TV, where you don't see those switches and maybe those coaching changes. So I was really disappointed in a lot of what, or lack of what, the coaching is doing, whether it's offensive line, whether it's even Al Harris. I got to bitch at him a little bit, man. Talk to your guy. I know they had a timeout. They eventually talked to him, but dude, there's got to be a little bit more coaching up with it when it comes to Carson, or you got to get him in a better position for him to be successful, and not to the outside just getting eaten up by the number 2 wide receiver. And sometimes the number 1, let's be real, it's not like they're switching sides. They're just allowing him, okay, you're going to stick on one side, you got it. Like, he's not Kevin Smith. He's not a guy that people aren't going to remember, but obviously is a big anchor. When we talk about those championship teams, Kevin Smith was a big part of that, but that's not going to be the first guy you talk about. So you need that other guy, especially with Bland being out. Have you heard anything about Bland?
Bland is out. He will not play this week. He will not play. I just saw CeeDee Lamb has a bit of a low back. Was told that it's that Lamb is it's nothing serious. CD will play Monday night. Rico, as we heard, Rico has been anointed the starter. No more of a.
I like that.
There's not going to be any more of a committee. I think he's deserving of that. Like I said, he averaged over 5 yards a carry for the first half. He was like, Dallas was running at will. If Dallas could have gotten some touchdowns against the Eagles, it would have been a different story. But they didn't. And again, we kind of called it, right? I mean, they're we're going up. We just don't have the firepower right now. So, and I don't know that we ever will this year. It's one of those years. It just is. So, it is what it is.
That's what I talk about. People were talking about, okay, and before we kind of like break this, because we're going to go into the 1 hour mark. There was a big debate. Cooper Rush, Trey Lance. There's a lot of this talk. No, people aren't. Quarterbacks aren't under contract beyond this year. Bryan, with you, would you bring either one of these back if the contract's not right?
Yeah. I'd move on from Lance at this point, because if they're not going to start him, then why are we going to pay any sort of money for him? This was an opportunity for me to see what Lance could do. So, and the fact that they're not going with him is kind of concerning. It's like, well, why? Do you want him on hope to do what?
Do you want Rush going forward?
I don't understand. So I would move on from Lance, and I would probably draft a young one to add to the mix. Not early necessarily. You have Dak, but I don't think this is the year that we go for that quarterback. We got plenty of time to talk about the draft and all that, but I would probably bring back Cooper Rush as the backup, but I would definitely look to draft, maybe get lucky and draft a young one with one of the 5th round picks, maybe something like that. I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I think
a young quarterback. You never know.
I think you make a good point in the sense of being rushed back just because of the veteran presence. I'm not. He doesn't blow my skirt up in the sense of a guy that can come in offensively and just kind of get this. I need some spark. I need somebody that. Oh, there's that possibility. And we all talked about Trey Lance, but you're talking about that exact same thing. I mean, we could wait till the offseason kind of starts, some team's going to release a younger guy from this past draft that, again, unless you're getting up into that those top tier quarterbacks, what's the point really other than another project? So I would like to have somebody here with at least a year or two experience, somebody that we can throw. I do like the signing of Will Greer. I know it's not big. He's not going to be a starter or anything like that, but that's what the guy that I'm talking about in the sense that at least he makes good decisions. He does move around in the pocket. Again, he's not flashy or anything, but right there, that's a Cooper Rush for you right there. So I just think he gives it a little bit more. Even a guy like a practice squad dude gets a little bit more exciting than Cooper Rush. But we could go down the list. I mean, if we're talking about running backs, there's a lot of these running backs that are not going to be here next year. I'm okay with that. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
so
I would be. 100%.
So, I mean, with the ones that aren't signed, I mean, the ones going into the season, I know a lot of people were talking about, oh, this aren't signed, and these people. We have a lot of free agents going into this offseason, and I think I'm okay with that. There are obviously guys that I want to see come back to the team, but it's going to have to be on the right price. And is that going to change now that the Joneses have seen, the teeth of this fan base getting pretty upset about, hey, this is your fault. I think that's got to kind of dawn on him that some of this stuff is his fault. He has talked that way. I do expect him to be a little bit more aggressive, but there's a lot of holes. So to say that you can fill them all up, you really, really need to be aggressive, and you can't wait and get into the later parts of the free agency. Kind of same thing with the coaching staff. Yeah,
David, I agree. Half the team is probably going, but that was the half that was going regardless of the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting to the chat. We drafting Buckeye running back. Just got a feel. I wouldn't mind him. Everybody's all on this Genty. Genty might be gone before we pick.
Yeah,
I will definitely take Judkins. I love Judkins. So I'd be happy with Judkins, people. Maybe go with Carter in the first round and Judkins in the second.
I like Carter.
Now we're talking.
Ultra kind of
give me Carter and Judkins, and then get back to me with all your shit talk. So can't wait. Can't wait.
So yeah, man. As I was looking, I saw that we had the Monday Night Football matchup, and I was just like, man, this really. But I guess it kind of extends it.
Yeah, I could care less about that.
Exactly. I know next week I do have my little brother's wedding, so I won't be doing a broadcast next week because I will be on the road as of Thursday. So I'll kind of be just out of commission.
Partying again.
For the
Nice.
I would say that it's just a lot of traveling and, of course, wedding stuff. So I'm excited, man. Of course, congratulations to my little brother, the one that was, of course, does the intro for this channel, man. Congratulations. So, Bryan, man, here we are, week 11. I didn't think we were going to be here this soon. I thought this was going to be kind of one of those seasons by the end of it, but, of course, we didn't think about it going to be in this season. We didn't see – nobody really ever sees injuries happening. We all know that teams have to deal with it at some point. I think me and you are handling it a little bit better than a lot of other Cowboy content creators or even fans. I think you hit a point. I got to go back on what you said. We're not too far off. We can do a 180 if all of a sudden some weapons were to come back, but that doesn't mean we need to be eager to do that 180.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're Super Bowl ready next year, but we're in the mix again. Just look where the Eagles were last year. They were
thank you guys.
A team that collapsed. They were a team that collapsed coming down, lost, 7 in a row. They went out and get a running back. Basically, that's about it. They went out and did a good move with Mekhi Becton, and they're rolling. So, again, when you have this, the amount of talent. Now, they're not playing now, but we do have talent. I think we could definitely be back in the mix next year. It all comes down to draft and free agency, and actually, I think the main thing would be head coach. Where are we going with head coach? I'll be the first one to rip this franchise if we dig up some old head or if we bring up Parcells, I'll be a little disappointed.
Yeah. Mark just says at this point, how many games will the Cowboys win this year? at this rate. I think we're still at that 7 mark. I think we're 7-8 now. Like I wish our offense could get going to kind of push that a little bit more, but I think we're about the 7 win just because of the injury now to Dak.
Yeah, I'm thinking anywhere from 6-7 wins tops. Yeah. Bruce says Eagles won 11 games last year. Yeah, but again, Dallas has won 12 games the last 3 years. What does that really mean? It really took a running game for the Eagles to be good. And let's face it, there's still a lot of football left. So, yeah, we've won 12 last 3 years, respectfully, Drew. But I am out.
Mark, this was for you.
Let's get out of here.
Or select payment type.
Boom!
Oh, shit. I forgot Mark to the chat.
Thank you very
You
much.
love the intro, Weed?
Thank you, man. Mark, I appreciate that. We back in the studio. I like being back home, man. It's just I feel comfortable in front of the studio. Even when I start talking with people around, I don't know how much you're picking that up. So it's just nice to be back into the studio where it's very familiar. That's definitely not the Cowboys in the sense of their home. And when they're home, I know Cole Cowboys talked about, man, the way that these prices are dropping. I'm like, yeah, that's okay, man. Let those other fan bases get into the stadium because guess what? The Dallas Cowboys definitely play better at home. Not at the road, right? And so if you can bring those road games to home, now they're playing on the road every single game, and hopefully they start playing better. That's got to be the logic to it, right? But game time, even with this happening, we're going to be here every single week, holding it down, talking about how they need to improve and stuff. So we're not burying our heads in the sand. I didn't know if you wanted to say something there. No burying head.
Looking at the chat. I don't know what's up with Drew today. Vinny, he just keeps going on and on about dark days ahead. Whatever, bro.
No, I'm again. I like the fact that
it's crazy, man. I don't get it.
I'm interested to see where we're going to be at. I mean, where other teams going to be? I mean, we're talking about some of these matchups this week where it's 3-5 versus 4-6 and or whatever. 4-5, 3-6. And somebody's got to lose on that. So at some point, with those matchups that we're going to have, where are we going to be,
bro?
Where are we going to be by the end of the season?
You're trapped.
Yeah.
Where are we going to be? I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
No, we don't know. They don't know. I know they're going to be competitive. I mean, again, we're going to have to be defensive first because this offense is definitely needs some improvement. So game time. Anything you want to say to the folks before we get out of here?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay, man. Well, I know that I appreciate you guys coming through. I know it's easy to get down about this team, but at every single position, remember, man, we got a star there, except for running back and defensive tackle. But otherwise, I mean, I get excited about a lot of the other positions. So if you can focus on those two big things right off the bat and sign a big free agent, what is going to be there, I don't know what's going to be there. Maybe a guy that has a lot of potential but got injured this year, because if you look down that IR roster, man, there is a lot of people there. So be careful who you get excited about this for this year. But we're keeping an eye on everybody and seeing what's going to happen across the NFL. But game time, I appreciate you coming through. But one thing I appreciate everybody forgetting not to do, ring that bell.
Ring that bell.
Take care, guys.
Hey. All right, good job, guys. Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day.
Talking prime rib in bed. I'm using a blanket as a napkin. That's fancy. That's fancy.
Real fancy.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I think we handled that with dignity.
Free candy!
Joni loves Chachi.